Hi, everybody. We're about to start. One more minute.
All right, it's 4 o'clock. Here we are.
Okay, there we are.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. I'm Valerie.
And I'm Mark.
And we're at my home. And we are tech reviewers here on Amazon. And we do live streams. We're trying to do live streams every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We're usually successful.
I hope so.
Last week we were.
Hope you guys all enjoy it. We have fun doing this.
Anyway, so today we're going to do something a little different. We usually do smart home products and home tech products, but we've learned a lot over the last few years, and Mark has bought a lot of toys for our studio. So we're going to talk about all the gear we use here in the AppMyHome studio for our live broadcasts.
I know, I can't wait.
I know, can't wait.
You know, we did actually do a video, right?
Yeah, we did a video towards the end of last year. We'll show you that in a second.
Okay.
But in any case, so thank you for joining. If this is your first time on Amazon Live, welcome. And if it's your first time joining us, welcome. Please give us a follow. We'd really appreciate that. And as I said, we are Amazon influencers and we do live streams and other product reviews. And Mark is going to show you our storefront. So
I think before we do that, I forgot to put this particular graphic up. And this is the follow thing you just mentioned.
Oh, so if you're joining us here on Amazon Live for the first time, you might see a little button there that says follow, and we'd really appreciate it if you could hit that follow button and follow us. Then you'll find out the next time we do a live broadcast. And then up at the top there, you'll see something that says View My Storefront. And if you click on that, Mark will virtually click on that.
Click on it.
And you can see there a lot of the other content that we create here for Amazon. So this is our storefront, and it's got a whole list of things up at the top. It's got idea lists. It's got, scroll down. You're going too fast.
Ooh, too fast. Okay, here we go.
So up at the top, you can see it's got idea lists, photos, videos, and live streams. And this is kind of our main page here. So you can see our last live stream over there in the corner. You can also see the list of the products that we're going to be talking about today. It says,
oh yeah, right here, look.
Right there.
You click on it.
And that will show you, this is all of the gear that we're going to share today. And we're going to walk through all of that. And then if you go back to the front.
Go back? All right.
Go back click there.
Right.
And you can see that Mark did a studio tour. Well, we did. Why don't you click us off then? Get rid of our.
Get rid of us. Oh, we're gone. Oh. Look at.
No, turn that off.
Turn it off. Okay, here we go.
Anyway, click that off.
Click it off?
Yeah.
No more of that studio. Okay, let's go back to us.
No, go back.
No? You don't go back?
Yes.
But you don't want this up there.
No, I don't want that up there. Close the video.
All right. Oh, man, I'm in trouble already.
Anyway, so Mark did some overviews of both this studio that we're going to share today, and he also did a video of our post-production or his office. So we did a couple of behind-the-scenes videos last year to kind of walk through all of the stuff that we have to share it with other content creators. And if you want to watch those videos, you can go back and watch those videos and get a little bit more detail of what we're going to show today.
Okay. All right. So now let's see what's next.
Now, so if you're new to Amazon Live, you might be seeing the products down below. You might either be seeing them under your screen if you're on a desktop, or on the side if you're on a phone or an iPad. Depends on the kind of your rotation and stuff. But so what's going to do in that product carousel is every time we highlight a product, it will show up, and then we'll talk about that. And then when we move on to the next product, you'll see that product change. And so if you're interested in those products, you can go down there and click and get more information, add them to your shopping cart, buy them for, save them for later to buy, or just get more details from the manufacturer on what those products are. So we'll be highlighting those as we go along. Let's see, what else is here before I forget? I think I've covered everything here. And if you have questions about these products or anything else, please go ahead and type Please go ahead and type your questions in the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat over here on my iPad, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. So,
you know I can't cut that little faux pas out there, right?
That's because we're live.
What? Oh, no. Okay, so relax.
It's
That's
not a
cool.
big deal, so I think you guys will live. So again, thank you for joining. And if you're just buffets for bucks started following us. Thank you, buffets. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. And as we go along, let us know if you have any questions about what we're showing today. All right. So what are we starting with, Mark?
I don't know what's on our list. I think
We're
it's the lights.
starting
The
with the
lights, camera,
lights.
action. I thought was how we could do it. So let me show you something here. I'm gonna do it real quick.
Right.
All right. The lights are off.
Oh, that
The
doesn't.
lights are on. Okay. I can make the lights bright, like a more intense,
Now we're turning blue.
and then kind of more yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically,
I
with
like that yellow light.
you do, well, we could change it to yellow, but it's a little harder to see. But what I'm doing is I'm using the Elgato app. So let me bring that up for you real quick. This is the iPhone. Okay, this is the app I was playing with. The controls we call the Elgato Key Light, and we actually have two of those. I'm going to show you those in a second. And let me see, we'll put our faces up there too. So basically, this app allows me to control these things. So as you saw, I turned the power on and off. I can control each one independently. Now, cool thing is there's a mode if you hit the little gear icon that lets you synchronize. So whatever you do on one happens to the other. So if I make the lights more yellow, or I guess that's warmer, then the lights go warmer. And so let's do this because I think it'd be kind of cool to see it from this side of the camera. And go back over there. And
Did you put the lights back?
The lights are where they're supposed to be.
Well, that's good. And these are really neat lights. Before we had these, we used to use these, I don't know what you call them, box lights.
Well, I'm going to go live on this thing.
And they were actually really nice, but these are very slim. You're going to see them in a second. They're very slim. They're very bright. They're brighter than the lights we used to use.
Hang on to your eyeballs.
All right, there they are. Why don't you, you could have turned the lights down.
What?
So that's the Elgato Key Lights.
Yeah, so I can go in here and I can change, as it turns out, I can adjust the color, see. So am I showing it right? Let's say I think I am, right? And then I can make it go the other way in more of the, high intensity blue light type of thing.
Yep, so these are LEDs. They go, what is it? 2,800 lumens. What does that mean, Mark?
2,800 lumens means it's really bright. I don't know. I mean, it's seriously, that's about the best I can explain them. And so let me put that back. And then the other thing I can do is I can adjust the intensity. So let me see, am I showing it right? Okay, so more intense or less. All right, so see, I can really dial it down. So that kind of gave you an idea, but there's our two lights. So the two lights are up on a pole. The pole's attached to the table. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. There's our lighting, and that's the Elgato Key Lights. And what I like about these lights is you don't see the LEDs. I forgot how many LEDs. Is it saying the specs how many LEDs?
I don't know, but take keep showing it.
Take it down. Okay, here we go. All right, we'll look at it from here. And we'll put us back because I don't think we need to see that many more. So basically, you can adjust the lights, and they don't have those little, some things you see where you see the little LEDs all over the place. These have these diffusion panels on them that are really nice. They have some name for it, some crystal something or whatever, but whatever it's called, it does a great job. It's nice and diffuses the light just nice and soft, so you don't have to get a light with a soft box and all that stuff. These things do pretty good. And since they hook up to the poles, you can adjust them. And in our case, we hooked them up to the table. So they're pretty good. They work with what's called the Master Mount L. They actually come with these poles actually come with it. So you can actually mount the light on the pole. And as Valerie mentioned, they're 2,800 lumens, so that's pretty bright. You think you saw that. We're not having trouble lighting up our studio. It really works pretty well. So, did we get a question?
No, I think I just noticed. I thought it said buffet, but it said bullets. So bullets. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to call you buffets for bucks. I must have gone to too many casinos.
For bucks. It's pretty good, but it says bullets. Okay, well, this is awesome.
But thanks for following us.
So,
appreciate it.
Okay. And then what else do we have? Is there something next?
The next thing is the microphone, and you're going to let me show this now.
Yeah, you're going to show the microphone. Okay, so let me I'll give you the camera.
Put it on the thing for now.
For now? Aren't you going to walk around with the thing?
Well, just give it to me.
There you go.
All right, so this is a Saramonic Vmic5 Pro, And, you know, when we first started doing videos, we just used the sound on our iPhone. And we just used our iPhone camera. And actually, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But as we've learned, we've really learned a lot about sound. And sound is very important. You could probably watch us forever, even if well, I don't know if you'd want to watch us if there was no picture. But sound is super important. If our sound was bad, you'd probably turn us right off.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
So sound is super important, and we learned a lot about these microphones from Nikki's son, who's another live streamer here on Amazon Live.
Yep.
And we also learned a lot about live streaming from her.
So you know, you tend to learn from other creators, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so we really have learned a lot from other creators about sound and lighting and video, and so you know we really appreciate that. So this is part of giving back. So happy to do that.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is we when we first did sound upgrades, we actually got the Saramonic lav mics with their wireless. And they work pretty good. Each of us are hooked up. But then Saramonic sent us this. Here, why don't you could show it now? Let me switch over to it. MacBook here. Okay.
There's the mic.
So can you get the side a little bit here? I'm being a director now. So basically, they sent us this mic to review, and we put it in our studio, and we love it because you can see it's just above us. We have it mounted on this rig here, these mounts we'll talk about. And it's great. It's all one. I don't have to fuss with stereo. It's just automatically stereo because it's both of us talking at the same time to the same mic. So it works out really well. And the other thing about this thing is if you look in the front of it, can you get in closer at all? I don't know if you'll be able to see the thing up there, but it's probably hard to tell. But there's a USB-C port there for charging it. It has a battery in it that lasts, I think they say 10 to 12 hours. I've not run it out, but I also have not tried to. What I've done is I tend to, before a live stream especially, I'll charge the battery just to make sure I'm okay. And you just plug in USB-C to, USB-C charger and you're good to go. The other thing that happens on that light, if you look there where it's wired in, is that connector up on the top goes all the way back to our camera. So it's totally connected up the camera. You can also, it has a hot shoe if you look at the very top of it where it's attached to the thing. It has a cold shoe adapter so you can put it onto your camera directly if you happen to be using it with the camera direct. All right, and then around the back, this is the part that's kind of interesting. In fact, all right, there we go.
Can you see it now?
Oh, I can see it. Perfect. So if you look, there's actually a light. Just come a little bit over. Once you go behind the thing, you can see it fine. There you go. Yeah, I think that's better. You see all the little lights blinking and everything else in there. But basically what it is, back off just a little because I think it's getting out of focus. Okay, there you go. On the back, there's a bunch of buttons. But first of all, there's lights. The lights tell you it's on. Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the mic from where I'm sitting. So I always have to check it. But basically what happens is when the camera turns on, the microphone turns on. When the camera turns off, the microphone turns off. And if you ever use these microphones like this, you don't have to remember to turn it on and off. So that's kind of a nice feature. The other thing it has what's called the 2-stage high-pass filter, and it has the 3-level output control. Now, what that all means is I can change the range. I can say what hertz or what frequency the mic will work in or cut off or whatever I'm trying to do. So if it's a high-pass filter, I can cut it off at 75 or 150 hertz. If it's the output control, I can change the output to have more or less sound or just flat, just like it's supposed to be. And then if you're in a really bad environment, you can actually do what's called a high frequency boost. So those are what the buttons do on the back of that. And I've played with it, and those are the ones we're using for our studio. I think I mentioned the built-in battery. It does come with a furry windscreen, or a dead cat, as they say. So that all comes with it. And of course, they give the charging cable. They also give you a 3.5 millimeter TRS to TRS audio output cable. That's the one we're using. And that just allows you to hook it up right to your camera. So that's pretty much it. There's nothing else. I mean, it's a super cardioid polar pattern, but basically it's a shotgun mic. So that's how it works. Ooh, let me switch us back. As Valerie comes back into the picture.
My arm was really tired.
Your arms, it's tired. Oh, man. All right. So that's the mic.
That is the Saramonic Vmic5 Pro. So that's it. That's it. All right. So if you're just joining us today, we're going over some of the gear we use here in our studio. And we just covered the Saramonic Vmic Pro. And we're going to move on to actually the camera that we're using.
Yes, and so you already got up, which means you don't get to see you have to go back to the camera in a minute. So let me see. Let me go back to this, and I'm going to...
Why don't you talk about the camera first?
Oh, we could talk about the camera.
This is the Sony
don't
Alpha.
People want to see it. Hold on. I know what I can do here. Hold on a second. Here's what I can do. I'm going to put the MacBook Air on and put our face in there so they can see us. But basically, that's the camera we're using right now. That's the one that we're live on.
Sony Alpha ZV-E10.
Now, this camera is interesting. It's one of the newer models, and we kind of like it. It doesn't do...
turn that off.
Turn it off?
Yeah, turn it off. I'll go get closer to it.
Okay, here. Take this camera. Go ahead. And I'll turn off the picture in a picture. You see how we always switch back between who's director or not. And usually Valerie does a better job at directing. So there you go. Then you can see the camera pretty well. So basically, the camera doesn't have image stabilization. So it doesn't do, the body doesn't have stabilization, nor does the lens. It does it digitally, I believe. But we found it's best to use it on a tripod. So that's what we're doing over here. Now, if you look at it, it has the lens on it is really nice. It is a fixed lens, all right, but it's changeable. So we can buy other lenses and put it on here. And this is, I think, what they call an APC. How do they say it? How do they put it? It's there's a thing on here about what kind of mount it is, but it's the Sony mount for the lenses. Let's see. I can never remember what they're called. Anyway, but it's the oh, there it is. It's a Sony E mount. So if you have other Sony E mount lenses, you can put it on here, which is nice. We just went with the stock one that came with the camera.
This is a wide angle zoom, right?
No, it's not. No, the zoom is going to be on the other camera. We're going to show in a minute. Yeah. So anyway, that's the thing. So keep that in mind, right? And it comes with a little a thing you can use for the lens cover or whatever else. But that's the lens. Then if you go around the back of the camera, what I really like about it is that it has an articulating screen, so that if you, for example, use this Vlog camera, you can don't do that. The cables are in the way when it's on the tripod. But if you were out with a thing and you were using your camera, that articulating display will actually turn itself around, right? So you can, or not itself, but you can do it. It doesn't automatically do it. So basically, you can turn that around and it's facing you, so you can actually vlog with it. And the grip on it is pretty nice. You can see it. And it has all the typical things that you would want for adjusting all the settings and everything else on the camera. So it's actually pretty good. And then if you look at the top, there's a bunch of buttons in the top. There's the on-off button. Kind of move over just a little bit, Valerie. Yeah, there you go. And you can do some adjustment wheel that you can make different selections from it. There's a record button and a snapshot button, so you can take a picture with it. It's not just a video camera. It's still a still camera, right? And then you have different modes. So you have a bunch of different modes. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the deal is, right? All right.
Yeah, this is a 16 to 50.
Is it 1650 zoom?
Yes.
Well, hold on a minute. Let's see. Oh, that's right, because it comes with... Oh, I'm glad Valerie's paying attention. I guess I wasn't paying attention to things.
16 to 50, so it's a wide angle zoom.
Whoa, look at that. See? I never use it because we use it like just on the deal, right? Let's see. Oh, yeah, it says optical zoom.
Turn this off before they throw it.
Okay, good. Got it? All right, we're back. All right, so that's the camera. Boy, good thing you're paying attention to that thing.
All right.
We never use it for that, so, okay.
Well, we don't really, it's on a tripod, so we're not usually moving it, but you can. It comes with that wide angle zoom, so which is really nice. Right. And then what's always important if you have a nice camera with a nice lens, you need to get a filter for it. So this is the one that we use, the one that we recommend. It's always good to get a nice UV filter for your lens. So that's important with any kind of camera. So let's see.
That's cool. All right. So now the next one is the ZV-1.
So we're going to continue on. So if you're just joining us, we're going over the gear that we use here in our studio. And we just talked about the camera that we've got here on the tripod. And then we're going to talk about the next one is the Sony ZV-1, which is the camera we have up here.
Okay, you know what that means? I have to do the thing again that you don't like us making everyone dizzy on. So let's see. So this is the ZV-1. And it's our overhead camera. So when we're doing an unboxing, for example, it's looking down at the surface, right? And so, as a matter of fact, I'll show you here, right here. Let's see. See, that's what it looks like. It's looking down straight on the mat, right? And so
those are specs.
And all the specs are right there. Which, by the way, all the specs are sitting on the Amazon pages, so you don't have to pencil everything in, everything. That's just
and actually, until recently, this is the camera we used for our main camera. It was over on the tripod over there. So we just got that other one, the ZVE10. We kind of upgraded ourselves at the end of last year, and then we moved this one up here.
Yeah, and this one here, again, it has the same articulating screen, so you can use it as a vlog camera. In fact, I think they originally touted it as a vlog camera, so you can see the screen. The lens is fixed, so you can't change the lens. It's one fixed lens, but it does zoom.
Here, give me that.
All right.
You talk, I'll hold that.
Oh, I have to do the talking. Can I put my picture up there so people can see me?
Yep. So there it is.
There it is. So that's kind of the thing. Let's see if there's any. It said flip screen. Oh, both cameras have a built-in microphone. Actually, the microphone on the ZV10 is supposed to be better, but we always use the mic that you see attached.
And this one only has, it's got a built-in zoom lens. It's not interchangeable. It's the one that comes with the camera.
Right. And both these cameras do 4K. For us, that's important for 4K video. This one here only has a 20 megapixel.
Can I take this down?
Yeah, if you want to take that down, I can get us back and turn it off. Oop. So the thing is important here is it's a 20 megapixel camera here. The other one, the ZV10 we showed you, it is a 24 megapixel CMOS sensor on it. And I'm trying to think if there's any other exciting stuff. Oh, well, one big thing is, and remember I mentioned about the ZV10, it doesn't have optical image stabilization. This one does, so it's built into the camera. So it's really nice. So if you're looking for something to vlog, I actually like this better. You can walk around with that, and it does get rid of some of the motion, right, with the optical stabilization. So that's really important in the cameras. But both cameras are great. The ZV10 we love in the studio. Really works out pretty well. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, it's 4K. You can do up to 120 frames a second on video. So that's kind of the scoop of that camera. Both cameras support JPEG and RAW, which is really good for your images. And this one only does 2160 p for the video capture resolution, where the other one was 4,000 something. But basically, we use it for a 4K video, and that works out.
It works. It has really great quality for video. The one thing I will say about the ZV1 is that the battery life isn't fantastic, especially if you're shooting in 4K. So when we're here in the studio, we tend to always have it plugged into a battery.
Yeah.
So that's. But if you're shooting something different, you're probably going to get a little longer battery life. Not shooting 4K video. But for 4K video, the battery goes pretty fast.
Yeah. So the other thing, and by the way, both cameras, they both support Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I think that the Wi-Fi is better in the ZV10. It's a newer camera, but overall, it's pretty good. They're both pretty good, and you can hook them up. The really cool thing with the ZV1, because we got this as a kit, if I remember. Mm-hmm. It comes with you can get if you get the kit,
you get the vlog kit. It comes with this cool.
Comes with this cool handle, which you can mount your camera on top, and then put this in the carousel. I'll remember to put it into the idea list, but because you can buy it separately. But it's nice because I can start the camera running and not right from the handle over here. Now the ZV10, I have to bring it up.
ZVE10.
What is it again?
It's the ZVE10.
Oh, yeah, no, that's important for the E10. That one there actually works pretty well with their Image Edge software, which means you can use it from your phone. The ZV1 will work with it with your phone, but I tend to find that the ZVE10 works much better with it from the phone.
And I think this camera is like 2020, right?
Oh, I don't remember the year.
The ZV1.
It's been out for a little bit.
It's been out for a couple of years. The E10, the ZVE10 is a little newer.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit better stuff.
Better stuff on it. And yeah, so to kind of give an idea, those are the two cameras. So that's what we use. We're pretty happy with them. They mount up nice. They're pretty solidly built. They both have cold shoes, so not a problem at all. So that's kind of the scoop of that.
Great. Okay, so we've moved on. We've done the lights. We've done the camera. So
now
what's next? Well, I don't know. I don't know how much action this is, but now we're going to talk about the ViewSonic monitor.
What comes after? Oh, the bracket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to show the screen again, so get yourself ready with the picture. All right, and boom. And
so we You know, there are a lot of like special purpose monitors for monitoring your camera that professionals use, but we couldn't really find one that we liked. So Mark did a lot of research, and I mean a lot of research, and he found this ViewSonic monitor. So this is a little monitor.
See, look, it only weighs 1.5 pounds.
It's very small. It's a very lightweight monitor. It's kind of designed to be like a portable monitor for your laptop that you could take it on the road if you wanted to have another monitor. But we have it set up here on the tripod so that we can see everything that's going on.
Yeah, and I'm going to explain a little more when we get to one of the other products coming up. But basically, to do this, we actually mounted this up on one of those Elgato stands we're going to talk about. But we happened to pick up this thing. Why don't you put up the other one real quick? You probably can't see it here, and it's silly to go around back. But basically, there's a little clamp that has a 1/4 screw, and you can put it onto a tripod or whatever else so that you can then mount your, it's supposed to be for an iPad, but we use it for this monitor because it's small enough, right? It's not, I think it's, what does it say here? It's like about 9 by 14 by half or 1 inch. So it's really small, really lightweight. It worked out really well with that little clamp. So that worked out good for us. The screen resolution is only 1920 by 1080, so it's a 1080p display, but that's all we need. And 69 aspect ratio, that's good. And it has a USB-C, actually 2 USB-C ports and a mini HDMI. So we're able to hook our camera outputs from this thing called the Atem switcher into this monitor, so that all the things you're seeing today, all the things you're doing, show up on this display. And so that's kind of the scoop of that guy.
It's really cool too. It lets us kind of see what's going on, what other cameras we have, and we'll show you how we turn those on and off in a minute. But this has turned out to be a really nice little display. It's pretty reasonably priced. And, you know, if you're just looking for a portable monitor, it's also a pretty nice little portable monitor.
And did I mention it has a kickstand in the back?
I don't think you did.
Well, it has a kickstand in the back. So on the back, there's a little panel that you can kind of bend out. Well, it's on a hinge. And then if you want to just lay it on the table here, that's it. That's all you need. It's all built into it.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're pretty pleased. And we're powering it up with USB-C connectors, so no fancy power brick or anything like that.
All right.
Okay.
Turn
now
the screen off.
Nope,
Give me a break.
You got to look at this.
Turn it off.
I'll hold this.
No.
Oh,
Turn it off.
All right. Time for a break. Is there a commercial coming?
No. But if you're just joining us, we're going through a lot of the gear that we use here in our studio. And we just talked about the ViewSonic VA1655 15.6-inch portable monitor. We're using it as a kind of a display for our studio, but it's also a really nice little portable monitor with a kickstand. So next, we're going to show you how we get all of that stuff up on that little monitor. It's the Atem Mini Pro ISO.
Wow, that's a lot of words.
It is a lot of words.
But, you know, the words are really important here. I don't know if you've pulled up the page or whatever else, but basically, when you look at the Atems, Blackmagic makes this, and they have the Atem Mini, then they have the Atem Mini Pro, and they have the Mini Pro ISO.
What does this thing do? Stop talking about the name.
It looks cool. That's all.
Well, so when we first started, when Mark wanted to start doing these live streams last year, he's like, I got to go and buy this Atem Mini Pro ISO. I'm like, what is that? And what is it for? So I didn't know what it's for. Now I know what it's for. It's for switching between different cameras and sources while you're doing your live stream.
Oh, is that what
or any kind of recording. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So now can you show it to everybody?
Now I'll show it to everybody.
All right. Here we go. Ready? Action. All right. So there it is. There's the Atem Mini Pro ISO. And like I said, there's different models. The ISO is the most sophisticated of the mini versions. You can get it, you know, it's all sorts of models, but this one is nice because it handles 4 input sources. So if you look up on the screen, it might be worth looking at a second. In the middle, you can see there's 4 things being shown. The one in the left of the middle is the main camera that we're looking at. I'll put us up there so you can see it. That's seen here that you see of the 2 of us. That's on our main camera. That's the ZBE10. The next one is the iPad and iPhone, so that would be this, but it's not going to show anything because we're using it in, what's it called, the Apple thing called? I don't know. It gets you, we're using the camera as the target mode or something like that. Then the overhead camera, which you can see us, yay, here we are. And then on the right-hand side is the output of the MacBook Air, which I've got hooked up to it as well. So All that's hooked up into this Atem. So if we look down here at the Atem, let me take us off now. You come down and look at this. Did you put me down to here? Yep. So what you'll see here is all these buttons that control everything. So there's 4 buttons, one for each of those scenes you saw, right? So the main camera, the iPhone, the overhead camera, and the MacBook Air. And then all these buttons along here, and there's one in red. That one there is the sound. It's the audio for that. So I can actually turn the audio on for each one independently. And then on the top right, if you look on the top right of it, there's like those red buttons there. And one of them says on air, because what's happening is this broadcast is being sent via this Mini Pro ISO, the Blackmagic Atem Mini Pro ISO. It's being sent to some place called Restream, who then transcodes the data from 1080p, which is the output of this switcher, to the requirements that Amazon requires when you're streaming to doing these Amazon Lives. And that's all hooked up. So this guy's doing the streaming of the stuff, and there's a record button there because we have attached to it, if you look on the right, we have an SSD, right? So we have it's actually a 2 terabyte SSD, and I think you can probably put that up. And everything we're doing here is being recorded to that SSD. So all 4 of the channels, all right? So all the cameras and all the displays and everything else are all being recorded.
I need a break.
You need a break? Okay,
Yeah.
I think we can turn this off.
Turn this
all right,
back
here we go. Main thing for us.
We should have got something for me to hold the camera with.
Well, a tripod. Why didn't we think of that? We probably got 5.
We have like a zillion tripods or camera handles or phone handles, but no.
Yeah. So,
just me.
but basically, this is the main thing, the main event for us for our studio, because it's controlling everything. And like I said, that recording is recording all 4 channels, all the audio is all being recorded there, as well as the stream going out to you all is being recorded on that thing. So later on, if we want to use it for whatever, we have it right there. It's all saved to that little card, and it's all controlled by this switcher. So it's really nice. There's 4 HDMI ports in the back, a couple of microphone ports that we don't use, but they're there if you want to add extra mics. There's an Ethernet port on it, so that's how we're getting it out to you all. There's a USB-C port, which is how we're connecting up to the Samsung T5 SSD. And I think there's something else back there, but I can't remember what it is. So anyway, so
Let's
all
show
the
it
connector.
Again. Turn it back
Show it
on.
again? Oh, but you got to go around the other side now. Can you go around the other side?
Okay.
Let me wait till you get around, and I'll show you the cables from the back. All right, here we go. All right, now there you go. Yeah, so basically, if you look on the right, that's perfect, Valerie. You see the 2 microphone ports on the right. You see the 4 HDMI ports. The other HDMI out is what's going to the monitor. All right. The USB out is the one going to the Samsung SSD. You can even see the light blinking. The Ethernet line is going out to you all, and then of course the power. It does take power. So that's the Blackmagic Atem Mini Pro ISO.
Okay, turn this on.
All right, now I can go back to us here. Okay, so kind of give an idea, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And it's got some cool buttons on there. It's got cut. I like cut.
You like cut? Yeah, yeah. So just like
I feel like I'm on TV.
It's like a TV studio, right?
It is.
You can
like
basically
a mini
cut,
TV
transition.
Studio.
Now, the other thing we can do with it is we can also, in fact, I can show that real quick here. Let me see here. Where did I hide it? Where is it hiding? All right, I'm going to cut over here now just for a second here, back to MacBook Air. This is kind of cool. This is part of the interface, is the media. You can put like 20 photos in here. So if I want to then show a specific photo, like you remember when we first started, we showed about the follow. That's actually a graphic or
You can put videos in here too, right?
No, you can't put videos. Only stills. Yeah.
Oh,
This model only has stills.
Oh.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you an idea of all the stuff there, and it gives you the idea.
It's a very powerful little system, so it's really neat.
It's pretty neat.
All right. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about all of the gear that we use here in our studio today. And if you're just joining us for the first time, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit the follow button so you can find out the next time we do a live stream. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them here in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. So what's next, Mark? Well, we talked about we're going to talk about the arms. The
arms have it. Now can I give you a break from the arms?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, I'll do the arms. I'm doing the arms. Okay. Let me get back to the right interface here. And I'm going to switch to the MacBook Air, and I'm going to put our picture on that thing so you can see it. So just tell me if I'm doing a lousy job or not. Wait a minute. What if I do this? Ooh, look at
Don't
figures it
throw
out.
up.
That's pretty cool. So what's the first one we're going to talk about?
The Master Mount L.
Okay, so the Master Mount L. Okay, you can either move your water because you're so that's the Master Mount L. So let's see. Let me get you. I hate these. You can't see what you're showing, but it's a clamp. So there's a clamp that attaches to the table. It's really nicely done. And then there's this long pole that's telescoping. So you can see there's like those telescope kind of things, a little knob to turn, just like you get on a tripod.
Like the light, because it's kind of obnoxious.
Is it obnoxious? Okay, hold on. There we go. And then to that, you can do all these things. And then from that thing, you can then attach other things. So there's the Mount L, which is the one on top. All right, if you want to hit that one.
No, that's not the. Isn't that the
solid arm? It's called the solid arm.
The solid arm.
It's also got another name. So basically, this is solid arm that just snaps out. Not snaps, but clamps onto the pole, the Mount L, and then to that you can add additional things. So there's a thing called the flex arm. So basically, the way to look at flex arm is it's a bunch of segments. And so as you can see, when we wanted to mount the microphone, we had the L, or I guess, what is it called again? I've never read it. It's solid arm.
The solid
and then the solid arm connected to a little flex piece. And then you can see there's like a little thing to hook on the, see where it comes down to where the microphone is, where you can attach things. It's one of those 1/4 screws, and you can attach things through it. And it was the same thing for the overhead camera. We were able to do the same thing, hook it up to the whole thing. So it's a neat system, and it's another example over here, although you're going to get the blinding here. Maybe a little easier to see over here. There's the Master Mount L, and then attached to it is the solid arm to hook up the lights. So that's the system we use. And the really cool thing is that clamp comes off, and you can do what's it called? The heavy base.
Oh, the Elgato heavy base.
So if you look down here, you'll see there's one of those poles, right? See, I don't know if you can see it between the tripod and everything else, but there's one of those master mount things, right? There's the pole, telescoping pole, but on the bottom is this really heavy. I mean, it's heavy iron plate. It's
called the heavy base.
It's a heavy base. Good reason. And what happens is that I'm going to switch this off now. What happens is you can actually remove the clamp that's on those that's on those poles. You unscrew them with three or four, I think it's 3 screws in the bottom. The clamp comes off, and then you can put the 3 screws into the heavy base and mount it in the heavy base. So it kind of gives you a bunch of options. The other thing that they have is, for you that want to do things with just your iPhone or your Android phone, is they have a nice little clamp. Right?
Phone grip.
And it makes cool noise. What if it's obnoxious noise? Anyway, but it's got a really strong clamp, so it just pull apart and it comes back.
And we used to have our phone hooked up to that.
Yeah, we hooked it up here because we used to use our phone for overhead before we got the ZVE10. So it's kind of the progression. So if you need it, you can get this attachment. There's other things as well that they sell that you can find on the Elgato store and the Amazon, and that's the Elgato system. It's pretty.
Yeah, we really like the Elgato products. They're really well made. They're really solid.
Yeah.
So they're really good.
And the thing I liked about doing this, by the way, was that we have this table we use for our studio, and the lights and the microphone and the overhead camera are all attached to the table. So it's not like there's a bunch of tripods all over the place. The only place where we got the tripod and the heavy base thing is in front of us, and that's it. And if I could attach them to the table, I might. But I think that'll be a little more than what we were asking for. So. Yeah. Kind of give you an idea. So all
right, so those are all the Elgato mounting arms.
Mounting arms.
Yeah, they sell them individually. They also come in some kits.
Yeah, some kits. Just look at the Elgato store if you go over there. But I have all these things listed in the idea list on our Amazon shop. So.
All right. So if you're just joining us, thank you for joining, and please go ahead and click the follow button so you can find out the next time we do a live stream. Today we're going over all of the gear that we use here in our studio. We just talked about the Elgato multi-mount arms and the phone grip. So now we're going to talk about 2 products from LULULOOK.
From LULULOOK?
LULULOOK.
LULULOOK.
So we've got the LULULOOK iPad stand and the LULULOOK iPhone stand.
All right, so here we go. Are you ready? We're doing it again. We're doing it again, MacBook Air.
You know what? You could just like put that in front of the camera.
What? What? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, but can you do? Oh, maybe yours too. Okay, I'm gonna go back. You got a point. I didn't think of that.
We don't have to make everybody dizzy constantly.
Okay, here it is.
So we use our phones and we use our iPads while we're doing these broadcasts for different things. And we got these nice little stands. So they're magnetic and we can hook them up. So they work with
the iPhone 12, 13, and 14.
So the MagSafe iPhones.
And you can tilt it. It's pretty cool. And then it's got a hole in the back so you can put your cables through it. And I happen to have our cables through it. Then I put this adapter on because I want to be able to power the phone and let it go out to the Atem. So it sits there, so I can't just pull it through without pulling all the cables off. But basically, that's it. It's a nice little pan. It's got
These are really nice little stands.
Nice foot in the bottom.
It's got a nice foot in the bottom so it doesn't slip.
No. This one here, does it? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Hold on, I'm going to show everybody. See a little rubber foot? It's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. So if you're looking for a stand for your phone or your iPad, we definitely recommend these. These are really great. This is the iPad one over here. And I've got it. It's basically running our Amazon live stream, so I'm not going to move it too much. And this is where I look for the questions, and tiny little questions in here. But again, this is the big brother to the iPhone one. And it's got the base, the non-slip base. It's this nice silver. I think it comes in different colors too, right?
I believe so. But you know, the thing is, and you really can't show it now, but you can actually rotate the thing. So it's a magnetic holder as well.
I don't want to touch it.
Don't mess with it.
I don't
but basically, it does rotate, so you can turn it. So if you want to look at your iPad in landscape mode. Now, this model is for the iPad Mini 6. And that's what we have attached to it, and it works great. It's also got a little on the bottom. It has a thing on the bottom, so you got the same pad in the bottom, and then actually behind the iPad, like if you took it apart.
No, I'm not taking it apart.
If I took the iPad off, what you would see is it has a metal surface that has the same rubber coating on it, so it protects your thing, and then it has the cutouts for the camera. So if you looked in the back, you can see the cutouts for the camera. I'm going to show that. See the little cutouts? You can see them right here. Yep. So everything's there, but it's really well done. It's magnetic. Yeah. Again, it's magnetic, and so it works with the iPad.
It's great with the MagSafe Apple devices.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really like these little stands. They make it really easy to run our live streams.
It makes the studio nice and neat.
Yes.
So
that's for sure.
Okay.
Well, this is a very exciting.
Well, this is the most exciting thing on here today.
So obviously we need a lot of connectors. And what is this connector?
Just take the connector here, put the thing on here. Just put the whole thing on.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, and then that's it, and turn it a little bit. Okay. So I know it sounds silly, but remember I mentioned you can put the cables through here. Well, we have to have an HDMI cable hooked up to this, as well as a power cable, as we want the power to go out while we're here. And so this thing is attached here through what's called a Belkin connector, and I forgot what the name is. Belkin USB-C to HDMI connector. But basically, you can plug the USB-C into it as well as the HDMI, and then it has a USB-C connector on this end that hooks up to the bottom of your iPad, so that you can keep it powered up, and you can put it out to the display like you see over here. So, and I don't actually have this one hooked up in the Atem right now, but it will allow you to go out there. So if you need to do something like this is great. So if you had the ViewSonic or some other display, you wanted to take and make the screen go out to HDMI, get one of these Belkin connectors. They're not that bad a price point, and it's awesome. It really makes life easy with one connector on one end to hook up to your iPad, and then the other connector for hooking up the HDMI and the USB-C.
All right. So, that's the Belkin USB-C to HDMI connector. All right. So now we're moving on to the smart home portion of our show. Well, part of it.
Well, not really smart home portion per se, but the one thing is we have a lot of power plugged in here. So we actually picked up one of these. I picked this one up. This Kasa power strip. It's got 8 outlets on it, and I think it's 2 USB outlets as well, and it's all controllable over Wi-Fi. So I can actually go in here and in fact I can bring up the app.
Why don't you? Oh, you're going to bring up the app?
Well, unless you want to walk around.
I was going to walk around and show it.
Oh, that's easier then. Let's do that. Are you ready? Hold on. I got to get back to my
I'm going to go on the road again.
You want to want everyone to watch it? Hey, we know what? They come on the road and show them what we have over on the wall.
No.
No? You don't want to do that?
No.
Oh, man. All right, you're live. Okay, you got to go low. All right, if you look really close at that nest of stuff, that's the power switch, right? So all those are controllable by the Kasa app, and you can name everything. And the other thing is, it even works with Amazon Echo. So it's nice. 6 outlets, all controllable. That's it. You got it. That's the whole thing. It's a nice little power strip. Okay, bring me back. All right. So that's the scoop with that.
You want to show the Kasa app?
Well, I can show the app. Yeah, I guess I could do that.
You're going to have to plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in. Okay,
all right, so if you're just joining us, thank you so much for joining. We're going over all of the studio gear we use here in the AppMyHome studio. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. And right now we're talking about our Kasa smart plug. It is a Wi-Fi enabled smart plug that we can control with the Kasa app, or we can control it with Amazon Echo. We won't say her name, but we actually have one down there.
All right, you ready? We're going to do it.
All right.
This comes a phone to the on position. Do I have it plugged in yet? No, not plugged in yet. Hold on. Let's go back here a second. He's not bringing it up. All right, hold on. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't always connect. I don't know what it is, if it's the phone or what the deal is, but
maybe you have some fuzz in there.
Oh, that could be, but I'm not sure if it's fuzz or... Oh, I know why.
Oh, because you have it hooked up to the...
Yeah.
That's better.
Does it come back up?
Yeah.
We're going to disconnect. There it goes. It's disconnected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And still not coming up. So we're not getting this camera to come up. I've seen this before where it doesn't always make it up. Which is kind of weird.
I think we should move on.
We'll move on from that.
Anyway, you can control this Kasa smart plug. You can control everything, including the USB-C.
So no, you can only control the 6 outlets.
Oh, you can only control the 6 power outlets, but it does have USB chargers in there. And we really love this Kasa smart plug. We have a lot of other Kasa products. They're really easy to use, and if you can use it in your house, you don't have to use it in your studio. This is just a great smart home product.
Yeah, well, Valerie keeps talking. I keep
it's
trying
not
to figure
work.
out why it's not working.
Right, what do we got left? We got 2 things left on our list. If you're just joining us, we're going through all of the gear that we use here in the AppMyHome studio. And, you know, there's some things that are also important to show. And one of the things that we got is this multi-purpose office desk pad.
Well, and I can show it, right?
Yeah, you can show it.
Overhead camera, yay!
Here it is. So one of the reasons we got this is because we had an overhead camera and we wanted to make sure we could remember what's covered in the overhead camera.
The overhead camera's going to see it. So long as we keep it in the gray area, it sounds kind of interesting. In the gray area, as long as we keep it in there, then no problem. We can actually put everything here and do it. So when we're recording a review or whatever we're doing, unboxing, the unboxing all happens over here. The other camera is recording from the front. And then I have a choice between camera outputs of what we use in the video.
And this is a really nice desk pad. I actually have one on my desk downstairs. That's how Mark figured out how to buy it. So it comes in different colors. It's a great desk pad for your regular office. And for us, it's a great desk pad for doing unboxings. Also has a nice color, this nice gray color. Not too obnoxious.
They sell other colors too.
Yeah, it comes in a lot of other colors. So we really like this. Who is this by?
99 Workspaces.
Oh, okay. Well, we only have one, but it's by 99 Workspaces. And then last but not least, we have our friend, the Amazon Echo.
We can turn this pick off here. Hold on. We switch back to us. There it is.
This is the Amazon Echo. Now, the one we've got in here, this is the Echo Dot, the current generation. Ours is the previous generation. They don't sell it anymore. But this is the latest generation Echo Dot. We love this one because it's got a clock on it. And so we use this for a couple of reasons. For one thing, we do a lot of smart home videos, and we need to talk to this little gadget to show how things work. So we use it for that. And we love this one because it's got a clock.
And it's 4:49, which gives us 11 minutes.
That means we have 11 minutes back left in our broadcast. So we really like this little Amazon Echo Dot. It's really handy. It's a nice size. It's got a pretty good speaker. Because we have that smart plug connected to it, we can turn on and off our studio with this thing if we want.
Yes, I could terminate everything we're doing right now by making the wrong statement to this thing here. And but it is nice because it gives us that ability to see the time, but also if we did want to control things, we can do it. Especially if we're doing demonstrations of different things, we can actually do that.
All right, so.
All right.
We have got about 10 minutes left, so if you're just joining us, we're going through all of the different gear we use here in our AppMyHome studio. And if you're new to AppMyHome, please follow us so you can find out the next time we do a live stream. So we've got about 10 minutes left, so if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat. And I'm just going to kind of recap everything that we shared here today. So we started with our lights, the Elgato Key Lights that we use. Now these are clamped up onto our table. And Mark can adjust them. I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing over there?
Oh, I'm just taking this off because I like to have this without it hooked up like that. All
right, so we've got the Elgato Key Lights. These are the lights we use here in our studio. We've got them hooked up and clamped up onto the table, and Mark can control them with the app or... Ooh.
Look at that. Now look at the camera. The ZV-E10's adjusting the lighting. Look at that. That's actually not too bad.
It's not too bad.
But here we are, the full light, and then it blooms out the camera, and then the camera adjusts itself.
So these are Elgato Key Lights. They're really nice. You can control, because they're connected to Wi-Fi, you can control them with the app. Then we also talked about our Saramonic Vmic5 Pro. Vmic5 Pro, that's what it's called, right?
It's a Vmic5 Pro, that's correct.
It's a boom mic, and it's attached onto one of these arms up here. No, I think we're just going to go over it, right?
I think that sounds...
Oh, you want to show it?
We can. I can do it. I have the technology.
Anyway, that's the microphone we're using. We've got it connected up to the camera. And it's great because it turns on when you turn the camera on.
Okay, so let's see. Let me get it ready. Okay, it's right there.
There it is.
And voila. Okay, there it is. There it is, the mic.
Whoa.
See, it says Saramonic upside down because
we really love this microphone. It's really great and really gives us some nice sound here in the studio.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention, but on the other side, there's another connector on the other side for headphones. So if you wanted to hook up headphones, so you can
monitor.
Yeah, because one of the things that you want to have, like on the ZV-1 here, the one on the top, it doesn't have a microphone output, so you could actually plug this microphone into the camera, but then plug headphones into the microphone and hear everything that's coming into the camera.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of an important thing when you're doing filming.
All right, next is the cameras. We did lights, now we're doing cameras. This is the Sony Alpha ZV-E10. So this is a camera that's got interchangeable lenses. It's 4K video output. It also obviously takes stills. It's a really nice camera. This is what we're using that you guys are seeing us on today.
Oh, you can't see here, but there's the cover with the little K and F.
Yep. All right. Why don't you put the picture in picture?
Oh, you want to see us?
Yes, you can see us.
Ah, and you can see me like a camera in my face.
Don't do that. Okay, we've also got a filter on the lens. It's always important to have a good filter on your camera lens. Upstairs is the Sony ZV-1. We actually were using this until recently as our main camera, and then when we got the ZV-E10, this one graduated upstairs. So we use this as an overhead camera for different overhead shots. And then in front of us, we've got the we've got a ViewSonic monitor, and this is a 15.6-inch portable monitor. It's 1080p, and we're using it as basically as a camera monitor for all the different things that we have going on. So
you can see the waving.
We can keep track of what's going on that camera and all the different cameras that we have attached. And we also have a little mount that we did to hook it up to the tripod. And then controlling all of those cameras is the Atem Mini Pro ISO, and that's it right here. This is a switcher that allows us to take all these different inputs from different cameras and broadcast them out to the internet and to turn them on and off, cut them. Can I push cut?
You can press cut and see what happens, but basically it's going to cut back to us.
Anyway.
The preview window
I just like pushing cut. Anyway, it's very sophisticated. There's a lot of things you can do with this, both on the console itself and with a companion app that Mark runs on his laptop. And then we have hooked up to it, we've got a Samsung T5 SSD, and it's actually recording all the output right from the Atem into this little SSD, so that we have a copy of all the streams, all the digital copies of the streams right there, which is pretty cool. Then all these little arms holding different stuff up. It's the Elgato Master Mount L is this big one. That's kind of the main
without
tree.
blinding everybody here.
Don't blind everybody.
All the parts.
And then we've got a couple of different arms hooked onto those. There's the solid arm and the flex arm. And with these different combination of these Elgato mounts, we can create this setup we have where we have lights mounted, we have a microphone mounted, we have the overhead camera mounted. And this is really nice. It gives us this nice clean studio where we don't have a bunch of tripods and stuff moving around. And then we've got if you don't have a table to hook it up to, there's a base that you probably can't see.
Well, you can. If I lean over, there we go.
And so if you want to hook up one of those arms to something and have it be freestanding, they sell this heavy base, which is really nice, and it's not going anywhere, and that's for sure.
It's nice and heavy.
It's very heavy. And there's also a phone grip you can use.
So okay,
might as well turn this off because we're
done with that.
Yeah, we're done with the nauseous part of our broadcast.
By the way, this picture you see over here is actually controlled by the Atem as well, so it's kind of neat. Okay, so then you've got
the phone grip.
So this is that. If you happen to have a phone and you want to hook it up, you can hook the phone up to it. Really, really strong. And you just clamps on, and then you just hook it up to one of these Elgato arms or whatever your favorite tripod would be. It's got a 1/4-20 screw hole on the back, so you can mount it right on. It's really nice. We used to use it because when we only had the ZV-1, our overhead camera was my iPhone. So,
all right. And then the last few things we have here to make our lives a little bit easier, we have these LULULOOK magnetic stands. Okay. So this is the one for the phone. It's really nice. This is good for all MagSafe iPhones. It's got a magnetic thing here.
Yeah, magnetic thing here with a nice rubber feel thing between it, so you don't scratch your phone. And then the bottom pad is a bottom pad as well, so it's less likely to slip. And then a wide foot, so it's pretty stable when you put the phone in.
It's got this little hole here, so you can put cords through it. So that's really nice. And then over here, controlling on this iPad, we have the version that goes with the iPad Mini.
I guess you can see it a little off screen, but
this is basically the big brother of that other little LULULOOK.
Yeah, there's a little baby one, and then you got the iPad one.
So we're using this one for the iPad.
And the other thing that this thing does, this one doesn't do. This one tilts. So does this one here, but also you can rotate it, so you can actually be in landscape mode with your iPad, and it has holes. You can see in the back. You see the cameras. It has holes in the back. You can see them. They're there. You can see the holes in the back for the cameras.
All right, okay. And then the Belkin USB-C to HDMI connector that's down here attached to this iPad, so that we can have power coming in, and we can also put this iPad out to the HDMI port.
Okay.
And then we've got, controlling all of these things plugged into here, we have our Kasa smart plug. It's a Wi-Fi enabled smart plug, and it works.
Well, it's a power strip, actually.
Power strip.
It's got 6.
It's much more than a smart plug.
Yeah, it's got 6
power.
6 power things, all controllable over Wi-Fi. 2 USB-C or USB-A actually plugs, or sockets, but those are not controllable. They're just there. And then, of course, you can control the whole strip as well if you want.
So that's really nice. Here on our desk, we've got this 99 Workspaces multi-purpose desk pad. We really like this. This is really great. So we're using it here in our studio so we can kind of keep track of what's on the overhead camera. But this is just a really nice desk pad for your office, for your regular desk. So it comes in lots of colors. So this is great. And finally, we've got our Amazon Echo Dot
with clock,
and we use this to keep track of the time. So we've got 2 minutes left.
And if we're doing a show where we're doing smart home stuff and we want the Echo to do things for us, we can say, do such and such. Is that safe, you think? Yes. No one's house is now turning off its lights.
Hopefully not, yeah.
All right, so that's it.
So that's all the gear that we use here in our Amazon studio, and thank you so much for joining us and going through all of this stuff.
And we have 1 more minute left. And you know what I think we should do?
What?
We should put the MacBook Air back up. And just keep in mind, everybody, that this studio presentation is actually on here. So if you look at that top row that's on the screen.
This is on our Amazon storefront.
Right, you can see both the studio tour here, as well as on the left of it is also the post-processing setup we have. So you can always look at that.
Yeah, you can always go back and watch those videos. And the whole list of all the gear that we showed today and the carousel is also
right here
up there on our storefront.
So you can see it all. It's all right here. You can go back and take a look. Or you can just replay this stream, and all the carousel will be there for you. So,
yeah, so that's
great.
it.
Okay, let me go back to normal. We're back.
We're back. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this tour. We had this was a long learning curve for us to help figure out all the right gear that we needed to do our regular videos and our live broadcasts. So we hope you enjoyed learning about it. And if you have any questions, well, the chat's almost over. So
I think we're set. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next week.